Hello my dear student, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about the topic. The topic name is clause. As you know about that, the clause is a part of the sentence, and every conversation which we held, it is a depend on the language, and the unit of the language is a letters, and this letter make a word, and then word make the phrase, and phrase make the clause. So clause, and after all we get the sentence. As you know about the definition of the sentence, okay, the definition of sentence, it is a group of words that has a complete sense. As you can see here, bed, on, David, sleeps, all these words you can see on the screen. These words make a sentence, okay. It is a part of the some words, like it is a in the part of the speech, like a noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb. These parts are make the sentence, and these words make the phrase, and phrase also include in a clause. Okay, so we can divide the sentence into the two parts: subject and predicate. Okay, and when we divide the subject and predicate, the subject has a different part of the speech, and predicate has a different part of the speech. Okay, so as you know, total part of the speech of the sentence. Here we know about the structure of clause. Okay, it is a greater part of the phrase. Okay, the phrase is included in a clause. Okay, phrase is included in a clause, and clause is also included in a sentence. So we can say that clause is a part of sentence. Okay, so you can see here the phrase, and this phrase it is a part of the clause. So you can see here the girls laughed. Okay, all the people in the stadium were watching the match. Okay, it is a sentence, and when we can divide this sentence into the two parts, one is the noun phrase, second is the verb phrase. Okay, noun phrase including more than one words. Okay, more than one words, and if work like a noun, so then it will be the noun phrase. Clear? And next you can see the girls is a noun word. Okay, all the girls, and is the subject of the clause. Subject of the clause is like the audience is a subject of the clause. The Tommy, Anna and family, Maria, all the parts of the sentence is the noun clause. Okay, noun words. Okay, and it is known as a subject. But when it used in a sentence in a form of clause, then it will be the different. It is a take complete sense. Like that, the clause having classification. Okay, like you can see here classification of clause. The clause have two parts. One is the independent, second is the dependent. We can also call it like a dependent as a principal clause, and dependent is a subordinate clause. First, you know what is the meaning of independent. An independent clause is a group of words containing a subject and a predicate. Subject and predicate means if a sentence or if a clause has a subject like a noun or pronoun, and the part of predicate, it means the finite verb. Okay, so it will be the independent clause, okay, or independent sentence. And what is the means of dependent? A group of words that has both subject and verb, but unlike an independent clause cannot stand alone. You can see here the words cannot stand alone. Okay, it means when a clause have everything, subject, verb, okay, and other part of the speech, but it cannot stand alone, then it is not will be the independent clause, it will be dependent clause. Okay, so as a sentence is known as a dependent clause or the subordinate clause. Okay, I already tell you that dependent clause is also known as a subordinate clause. Now we study next about the type of dependent clause. Okay, dependent, it means a clause that cannot stand alone. The variety of the dependent clause is adverb clause, okay, adjective clause. Next is adverb clause, adjective clause, and noun clause. Okay, you can see easily there are three parts of clause. Okay, next, before we go into the detailed structure of the complex sentence, let's us study briefly different kind of the sentence. Okay, like you can see simple sentence, okay, simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, complex and compound sentence. Okay, first we know what is the meaning of simple sentence, and after that complex sentence, and in the last we can study of the compound sentence. Okay, so you know very well about that the simple sentence has a one subject and one finite verb. Okay, here we study about the structure of complex sentence. Okay, complex sentence has a configurations, subordinating conjunction, use of comma, position. Okay, as you know that when you study in the part of speech, the part of speech have a part, the name of the part is a conjunction. Okay, and when you already know about that sentence, a conjunction is a joining word, and this conjunction word divided into the two parts. Okay, subordinate or coordinate. So here is the use of the subordinate conjunction, like that when Frank Turner performed at the opening ceremony of the Olympics 2012, the crowd was immense. Okay, so you can see here the depend clause and here the independent clause. Okay, and before both clauses have a comma, like that. This is the dependent clause. Why? Because in this sentence you can see the word when. Okay, and it is a subordinating clause. Subordinating clause. Okay, and when a sentence has a subordinating clause, that part will be the dependent clause or the subordinated clause. Okay, and a sentence that has no any need of the other sentence, okay, then it will be the independent clause. And in this sentence you can see, if we can use here comma, you can see here the comma. If we can use here in the middle of the comma, in middle of the sentence as a comma, the conjunction word will start or use in the beginning of the sentence. Okay, whenever you have to get the comma in a sentence, then you can also see that the conjunction word used in the beginning of the sentence. Okay, next, here is no comma is necessary when the independent clause comma first, like that. You can see here when word here, so there is no need of the comma. And here the use the conjunction word, like it when is a conjunction word. So your independent clause will be the highlight by the red color, like in the crowd that. Okay, so here is the example with the relative clause of the dependent clause. Relative clause as the dependent clause. You can see here. Okay, here is the example with the relative clause and the dependent clause. A person, you can see you know about that very well of the pronoun and the part of pronoun. When you classify the pronoun as the different part, then you also know about the relative pronoun. Okay, so in this sentence, a example that is the subordinate creating the dependent clause. You know the various position of the dependent clause, and like you can see here, the workers grumbled against the employers, comma, although they were treated well. So in this sentence, you can see easily that this part is the dependent clause. Here is the this part is the dependent clause, and here is the this part is a dependent clause. Okay, all the white color highlighted is a dependent clause, and you can easily see that the conjunction word here, the although is a conjunction word, because is a conjunction word, and here the also use the conjunction word although. Okay, these are conjunction word, when these conjunction word add with the any clause, okay, that clause will be the dependent clause. Okay, next next is here is the, you can see that here is the use the dependent clause in the last of the sentence, here the use the conjunction word in the beginning of the sentence, and here the use the conjunction complex sentence into the okay. So next, structure of in a detail. Complex sentence with the adjective clause, complex sentence with the noun clause, and complex sentence with the adverb clause. So here the complex sentence with the adjective clause, how can we use or introduce it? Adjective clause introduced by a relative pronoun as a subject. Okay, relative pronoun as a subject, and relative pronoun as a object, relative pronoun as a or modifying of the object, and here the modifying the object of a preposition, and the modifying the sentence as a subject. So our main motto is to learn how to use relative pronoun in a complex sentence. Okay, you know that who, when, where, all these interrogative word used in a form of the relative pronoun. Okay, and when these relative pronoun are relative conjunction used in a form of a conjunction, okay, then it will work as a relative pronoun, work as a subject, object, and the direct object, and a preposition, object of a preposition, and the modifying the sentence as a subject. Okay, next we learn about here that how it will be implemented, like an adjective clause introduced by a relative pronoun acting as a subject, like a people who live in a glass houses shouldn't throw the stones, and people shouldn't throw the stone. You can see here simply you can see here the who live in a glass house, who live in a glass house, it is a highlighted word, and this word you can see here it add by the word who, and as you know that who is a relative noun. Okay, relative pronoun, and this is the adjective phrase. This is the adjective phrase, and this adjective phrase work for the people. This adjective word used for the people, and it is acting like a subject of the sentence. All these parts like this total part work like a subject in a sentence. So we can say that this is the part of the subject. Okay, and here the who lives in a glass, it is a adjective part. Okay, adjective part, which kind of the adjective part? It is a adjective part that add by the relative pronoun. Okay, and this relative pronoun work or acting like a subject with the main word of the noun. Are you understand? Have you any confusion? Then you can see here that people shouldn't throw the stone. People shouldn't throw the. It is a sentence, a simple sentence. But when we add the pronoun word with pronoun word and make it a adjective phrase, and all these words use of the word usually for the people word. Okay, and this is the known as a adjective clause. I hope you all understand it. Okay, next. Next we can see here, the next part is adjective clause introduced by a relative pronoun as a direct object. Okay, direct object, you also know that object is a part of noun. It works like as a subject form, as a object form. Okay, so you can see that the bell which the house narrowly passed was defected by the Senate. The bill was defected by the Senate. It is a independent clause. And now next, which the house narrowly passed. It is a dependent clause and relative noun. Okay, now see here, which the house narrowly passed. This is the part of the subject. This is the part of subject. But when we use the second sentence, see the second sentence, and in the second sentence, the bell was defeated by the sentence, and which the house narrowly passed. This part is used by the adjective. It is a pronoun. Which kind of the pronoun? It is a pronoun of relative, and this relative pronoun add all these rest of the words. Okay, to whom it is used for the way, and it's work like a objective form. It's work like a objective form. Okay, I hope you know or you understood these words. Okay, next. Next, you can say adjective clause modify as a direct object. Direct object, it is a part of the sentence and it's used in a last of the sentence. Clear? So you can see here that adjective clause modifying a direct object. Anna gave Daniels all the troubles that he could not handle. Okay, Anna gave the Daniels all the troubles. It is a independent clause. Independent clause that has a subject and the finite verb, but that he could not handle. It is the word, it is an adjective clause modifying the object of trouble. Object of the trouble is here. Okay, this word. Okay, this word. All these clause, it is a clause word. It is a clause. Okay, and this clause used are the modifying the word object of the main sentence are the independent clause. Okay, it's enough. So we can talking to the next period. Okay, thank you.